Just dreaming. Dreaming of a time when every time a person becomes important in the area of stargazing, so to speak, they call them astronomers. All the ancient aliens never once is the word astrologer used. Seems like somebody snuck around and took out the word astrologer and put in the word astronomer. Wouldn't it be wonderful if they were honest? In the last 20,000 years, men studied astrology. Oh well, just dreaming. Rollin Frost here. Aloha from the Kona coast to the Big Island. This is show number 973. I'm going to cover the last week in July. And as you notice at the bottom, Uranus stations when the planet stops in the sky, which it does for you on the 26th of July. Everybody's consciousness kind of goes to that color. The Aquarian spirit is alive and well, and you'll feel it mostly on the 26th. Yeah. And now this is privileged knowledge. This isn't stuff that normally people understand in modern astrology. No, more on that in a little bit. But let's go to the Sky Mirror and see what's coming up for you. The generic astrology in this last week of July 2015. All right, this is really a learning experience for all of us, because every time a planet slows down and stations, which Uranus does on the 26th. Well, let's just go through them. You know, your consciousness just turns to Uranus. You become Uranus. If this is a stage, and as Shakespeare said, you know, all of the actors on the stage here, as those are the planets, well, the actor stands up and acts out when he stations, when the planet stations. So we've got a regular little stationing contest. Kind of neat. 3 opportunities for you to study the characters, the actors on the stage. And the first one to station is actually Venus. Yeah. Now what do you expect when Venus stations? Well, you're going to see Venus out there in public. You go to the store, when you go out and drive around, you go out in the neighborhood, you'll see more Venus. Venus will tend to come out of hiding a little bit more. Yeah, pretty girls. Divas, little from 12-year-old, you know, French naivete, what do they call them, to the 40-year-old cougars. They're beautiful girls, and they're into pleasure and fun and sex, and girls just like to have fun. You know, these are the girls. So what happens? Well, 7/24, that happens to be Friday. Now Friday, the 7 days of the week are named for the 7 planets, okay? Friday is named for Freya. Freya, a lot of the Norse gods. Freya is Venus. So Friday is Venus's day. Yeah, and this is 11:30 p.m. Friday night, the 24th. That's tomorrow night for you, isn't it, if you're on the Thursday show? If you're on the Friday night show, gee, you're already feeling this. What are you feeling? You're going to get horny. You're going to have flashes of wonderful, fun sexuality, you know. Venus is like that. Oh, you could say she's just a sweet little sister, but that sweet little sister has a definite physical pleasure side to her. And it's lovely to watch Venus. You'll see her in the movie. You'll see every place around you will become more Venus on Friday. Well, what's next? Uranus comes along. And Uranus stops. It doesn't really matter that much if it's stopping and reversing direction or stopping going forward. Stationary retrograde, stationary direct. The main thing is it's stopping. You know, which way has other ramifications. But here at 12:39, that's just 39 minutes after midnight on the 26th. That's Sunday night. And Sunday night or Sunday morning? I better double check that. Okay, you can see how much, other people importance they put on it, because the notes are hard to find. Here's Uranus stationing on the 26th at 10:29. Now, that 10:29 is Greenwich Mean Time, so in Hawaii it's 0:39. So this is the 26th, early in the morning. Very early in the morning. You could call it Saturday night, midnight or so. Whatever it is, you're going to feel it stronger and stronger and stronger, peaking out late Saturday night. Not like Friday night. Friday night, oh boy, sexy. Saturday night, intellectual, common sense, flashes of insight, awareness of the brotherhood of man and of the animal world, and it's very Buddhist and things in many respects. Uranus is just a lovely planet. Enlightenment from the mind. Sunday night. Then next we have another character steps up. Who's that? Saturn. Yeah, the old stooge, the Grim Reaper, the guy who, wants to keep things the same, the old ways. Saturn, huh? The judge. Saturn's a great malefic. He stops August 1st at 7:54 p.m. Now, that's a Saturday. Saturday, you guessed it, happens to be Saturn's day. Saturn stopping on a Saturday, that's a big deal. It's 8 o'clock p.m., so that's about here. Here's a Saturn station. So Saturn is like getting judged, and I thought, gee, that looks like a setup to me, because here, frankly, you're going to start with Venus, and Venus will seduce you. Oh boy, that's sweet. Can I have some of that? Yeah, sugar too. We'll talk about sugar and ignore the more venal possibilities, but there'll be plenty of those in your mind. And Venus, she'll just lead you like, you see a pack of male dogs follow a female. So it starts off with seduction with Venus on Friday night. And then on Saturday night, here's the 25th. Here's freedom, rebelliousness. Uranus takes over, see? It's like you're seduced into being a rebel and doing unusual things and getting out and doing stuff that's non-traditional, you haven't done before. And then, son of a gun, last of all, Saturn stops a week later on August 1st, and you are judged. Now, Saturn stops at 7:54 p.m. on August 1st. Write this down. You're not going to get it anywhere else. Venus stops 11:30 p.m. on the 24th. Uranus stops 12:39 a.m. on the 26th. So it's actually, they say p.m., because it's just after midnight. It always confuses me. It seems like when the clock goes after midnight, it should be a.m., but they continue to say p.m. until, as long as there's a 12 in front of it. Well, bing, bang, bing. 3 major stations, 3 different actors acting up. Inside you become Venus. Oh boy, be with somebody you love and want to get skin to skin with, or at least line up your very favorite sweets. Friday night, Freya's night, and be rebellious. Join the brotherhood. Be part of us all. The internet rules. Astrology, not astronomy. You can see why I have attitudes about TMT. Just more astronomers who's mislabeling. I won't get into it. And Saturn, I'm judging. Judge. Yeah, hold things back, draw lines, put numbers on things. Now, this stationing and this thing in your consciousness is privileged information. I got to tell you that I learned this myself, like most of the astrology I do, by practicing. So you're not going to have it in the books or the lectures or magazines by astrologers. They don't know about it. They don't understand it. They're book people. They're academics, so many of them, who take words and write down the words and get judged for the words, and the more better they are at passing on words, the more they get promoted, and those are people with degrees in academics, and so they don't know about this stationing. They don't understand it. Now you do. So enjoy it. Here's a good side to Saturn, you know. You might feel like, you know, kill them all, let God sort it out at times with Saturn, but you'll also say, I want to get organized. I want to get my material world together. It's across a matter over the crescent of people. So, okay, enough on this. Let's get on to the sky mirror and see what's coming up for you in this next week. Two more little pieces of your coming week. Mercury trining Uranus. Brilliant ideas. Write them down. Here's encouragement for the rebel and the new age stuff in you, okay? Yeah, August 2nd. Here's the Betty. Venus squares Saturn. She gets judged. August 4th. So beware the station of Saturn, Venus. He's not in your favor. Okay, here's our sky mirror. I've drawn up a nice chart for you. Whole bunch of planets still down in this one section. You can see Venus and Jupiter are still roughly together here. Yeah, Venus is stationing and stopping, so it's going to go back past Jupiter again. And trine Uranus. So there's going to be some sweetness and some giving and some love and some of this higher knowledge. I hope it's not just Nevermind. What's it going to be like day by day? Well, we're going to run the moon around the edge of this planetary pattern, and as it moves around, it makes angles to the actors on the stage, and it generates the mood of the time. This is what the audience, that's you, is looking at. Yes. Friday morning, well, the moon is trining your Neptune. It's a movie, color, art, music, sensitivity. Feels pretty good, doesn't it? Moon's in Scorpio. It's kind of sexy, too. And you're getting closer to the Venus station, which is right here. So, wow. I would be careful not to dull my pleasures of Freya's day, Venus, with alcohol here. No. Try something new that would give you pleasure. Like, you know, it can't be just only crummy sugar, you know, and quickie orgasms. There's got to be more. Explore. There's a nice sextile to Pluto. Comes up 9-10 o'clock. Venus is stopping. Yeah. Nice. Now, here's another word about this business of stationing is there's a curve over it. Let's say it starts 3 days before the station and you feel sexier, and then 2 days before much sexier, 1 day before really sexy, then it peaks out. Oh my God, all I can think about is sex. Venus is stationing, and then a day afterwards comes back down, a day after, and it fades out. This could be 1 day, 2 days. It's a little bit about your own chart too and how it sets up. But see, there's a peak in this thing, and then it mellows out. So the peak of Venus, Friday night, the 24th. I think a lot of the young students, when I was first learning astrology and teaching it a bit, the young people, it was handy for sex. You want to know when your wife is going to be, well, check her chart. Anyway, this is everybody's chart now, so hope you enjoy. Saturday, the 25th, moon's still in Scorpio. There's a nice trine to Mars, and we're out to get stuff done. The heroes are there, fix stuff. I mean, you got plenty of rewards there on Friday, didn't you? So you might as well get out and exercise a little bit, fix some stuff. Fix them, yeah. Now, as you go into Saturday night late, it's getting tougher. Here's a square to Jupiter. Venus, there's a shutdown of Venus right there. Sunday morning, Square to Venus. But a square to Jupiter happens too Saturday afternoon, and trying to do too much. Everybody's trying to do too much. And then the conjunction to Saturn is about midnight. So the moon's going by Saturn about midnight, and woo, nobody likes that too much. So it's, I want to bust out of this joint, and then more jailbreaks, more freedom, free the slaves. And we all feel a little like slaves when the moon goes by Saturn. All there are lines and signs everywhere. Well, you'll feel better Sunday morning after breakfast. There's a nice trine to the sun. What would Father do? This is really Father, So, and that's a good thing to do. And Sunday morning in church, if you got a decent preacher, he's going to talk about Father. And here's Mercury, the middle of the day and the afternoon. Good communication. Sunday, the moon's in Sagittarius. You should be getting new information due to this spike in higher mentality that happens Sunday morning. You really feel it more as you go into Monday. Here's confusion and delusion Sunday night, about dinner time. It's a square to Neptune, and the music doesn't sound so good, and I'm not sure about believing in this stuff and all this religion, art, music. Bad smells Sunday night, the 26th. Monday, that's Moon's Day. This is the Sun's Day. This is the Moon's Day. On Monday, August 27th, the moon's still in Sagittarius. In the middle of the day, you get a nice trine to Uranus. In the evening, a trine to Jupiter. Here's a day of enlightenment. And it goes into rewards Tuesday morning. Here's a nice trine to Venus. Oh boy! So everybody's being a good guy here and working together. And I expect more intellectual enlightenment. He's right. And nobody will use the word astrologer. Was Galileo, Copernicus, astrologers, Kepler, the three wise men, the Mayans, the Chinese? Marco Polo said Kublai Khan had 5,000 astrologers working for him, not astronomers, astrologers. So astronomers have wiped out the word astrology, and they co-opted everybody. Word magic. Well, Tuesday the moon's in Capricorn, and it's in a sexy morning. Here's a trine to Venus. Yeah. And everybody was celebrating Monday night. Stay in bed Tuesday morning for a little bit. Tuesday night, about midnight, here's a sextile to Neptune. What the heck? We can get along with religion, can't we? I think so. I'm not sure, though. The moon's in Capricorn. I got to be a little careful. Moon in Capricorn is Saturn, and sure enough, Wednesday morning, the moon goes by Pluto. Eek, a bug! Panic. Cops and guns and cops. Poisons. Pluto is poisons. Pluto is police. Pluto is plutonium. Should be mosquitoes. Anyway, you won't like it much Wednesday morning. There's a feeling of panic. Flight or fight. I want to run. Continues through the day until you hit the square to Uranus. And then you're into isolation and power blackouts and a little sudden isolation kind of feelings. Not so good. There's a new moon square late Wednesday night. So this late part of Capricorn here, no fun. Here's your old isolation thing, and all over the television. Take away the handguns. Let everybody carry a long gun. It's the answer, believe it or not. I got a lot of Capricorn. But you won't know it. These people are not going to recognize. They're addicted to their power and their control, which is their handguns and their plutonium bombs. That's the truth of it. Well, Thursday, moon's still in Capricorn when you wake up, and you're probably still a little jittery, and maybe some angriness came up here late Wednesday night, early Thursday morning. Here's an opposition to Mars. The young men are out being rebel. The prisoners are rebelling and escaping. There's riots. The young men are out voicing their opinion, and they do it physically. Yeah. So Wednesday is day of riots. Thursday morning goes on, moon in Capricorn. There's a break about the middle of the day. The moon shifts into Aquarius here, and you get to feel a little more intellectual and independent. But, the mess that you found yourself in Wednesday still goes on because you can't make a plan. There's a full moon here. Thursday night in Aquarius, and so it's a day to do as little as possible. You on full moons and new moons usually wait a day and see how they feel before you start again. New vibes, new vibes. Friday morning, still in Aquarius as you go through the day. In the evening, on the 31st, here's a sextile to Uranus, the electric power of your mind and brotherhood and the Aquarian spirit. Woodstock is alive. Well, you're getting close to the Saturn station. And so you got to watch how you rebel here. You scare the old guys, out come the weapons. Woodstock learned that. What we learned at Woodstock is you present it with song and with happiness and color and a gloss of religion and music, and maybe you can get by the guys, the generals and the judges and all the people who keep other folks in jail. But the rebellious spirit that's so much fun Friday comes down hard Saturday. Here's a square to Saturn, square to Jupiter, square to Venus. You can't have fun Saturday morning. Stop those people from laughing. Stop them from loving. Ugh. So you're going to watch some of the Republican candidates react to what happened here at the end of July. Well, Saturday in the middle of the day, it all changes again. The moon slips into Pisces here, and you're in the world of Neptune, and it mellows out. Well, it doesn't mellow out. It just gets more cloudy, and it's like having a few drinks, Who cares? That peaks out Sunday morning. Moon going by Neptune Sunday morning. Pretty good time to study religion. I consider real religion to be the translated Jesus, yes, who talks about astrology all the time, and his father in the sky, the sun. Of course, your distorted forms of religion is the corporate religion that I call it, that puts up the churches. Anyway, did you hear about that church burning down? For you, it was like 2 weeks ago. Well, anyway, Sunday morning, be Neptune, be Jesus. Go out, start early, greet the birds, talk to the sun and the moon and the spirits of the place and the trees, dream a little bit. Discovery happens at breakfast with a sextile to Pluto. Nice Sunday. Results in such inspiration that, and here Monday morning is a nice trine to Mars on the 3rd. You might get out and charge it and get some real stuff done. Interesting week, huh? Wow. Interesting. So there's a story. Let's see. First I had to tell you, I guess, the Ben Franklin story. Benjamin Franklin always used the word astrologer. He was an astrologer. He wrote Poor Richard's Almanac as an astrologer. He's a very Saturn character, born on my birthday. My chart and Ben's chart are very, very similar. It's very hard to find copies of his almanacs. 25 years as an astrologer. Yes. This one, they took all the astrology out, put some Norman Rockwell pictures in. It's the best I could get at the time. However, what I wanted to point out to you was lightning rods. So here he was, poor Richard, and he wanted to show people how to protect buildings from lightning, and he put it in his almanac, and he gave exact directions. Yes. You use a foot of brass wire, like a knitting needle sharpened on the point. You'd use the iron made from nails, the same wire they made nails from, and he gave you exactly directions on how to protect your barn and your house, how to mount them, how to put them in the ground, also how to protect water vessels. And the interesting thing about this, was Ben had to be very careful of the religious churches, of course, and he always bought a pew in every church in Philadelphia, just to keep on their good side. But when he put this lightning rod thing out, the churches wouldn't use it. They said this was blasphemy because you were subverting God's, if God wanted to burn his church down, he would. And son of a gun, they didn't put any lightning rods up. All the other buildings in Philadelphia did, and they didn't burn down from lightning, but the churches started burning down, and today they're still burning down. Yeah. Anyway, they wouldn't use the lightning rod. They put Ben down. The result was the lightning got him. I would laugh. Ben Franklin probably laughed a little bit. Here Ben was writing about how bad it was in the modern time. Astrology had dwindled into contempt. And he said, nobody, not a prince or a general, would fight a battle. No important affair was undertaken without first consulting an astrologer who examined the aspects and configurations of the heavenly body and marked the lucky hour. The lucky hour when your rising sign is the same, that's the key. That's what astrology is all about. So modern academicians use all kinds of words. Sky watchers. This guy was really good. But halfway through his book, what does he say? He says, we must face it. He never used the word astrology. Only astronomers. Oh yes, the Mayans were astronomers. But he says, we must face it. The reason for Mayan astrology, we must face it. So far as ends are concerned, Mayan astronomy, and he, was astrology. And here he was one of the people who tried to fake it. To call them sky watchers. They were astrologers. Pick the lucky hour, Ben Franklin said. Here's two. A solar plane took off from Japan. I got the chart of it. Son of a gun. And a spacecraft launch. You know what happened with the spacecraft launch? It blew up. You know what the chart looked like? It had Jupiter rising and Saturn, the moon on Saturn, squaring the rising sign. Eek, terrible chart. Who picked this launch time anyway? Now here's the solar plane. This guy, it looked like an astrologer set this chart up. They left at 3 a.m. I did the chart. Yeah, Mercury, right? There's Mercury. And here's trines and the nodes in harmony, and Jupiter and Venus helping out this chart and helping Mercury out, and Uranus helping Mercury out. This is almost set up by an astrologer. Mahalo to Hawaiians for stopping TMT.